Welcome to Business Blitz, 5 minutes of tools, strategies and skills to make sure that you can propel your business forward this week. On our panel, we are absolutely blessed to have Andrew Simmons from Vision Personal Training, Rachel Bourke from Salesbase, Geoff Roberson from Champion Legal. Amazing. Again, here we are. We're still talking about brand this week, and in fact, we're moving on to the last little segment, which is how do you get your brand out there? The world is a competitive and noisy place. How are you going to cut through that noise and make sure that your brand makes a statement? So I'm going to ask each of you in turn, and this is very much off the cuff. What have you done when it comes to getting your brand out there? What's been successful? What are some of the pitfalls? Or who have you seen out there who's done it really, really well? You can answer whichever way you like, and we'll start with Geoff.
Well, I'm fortunate. I've got an older business, so there's repeat business. But so we focus a lot on people we've dealt with. So our brand has been around for a long time with people that know us. So it's a matter of making sure that every time they get in touch, so we're not out there advertising, we're not out there necessarily going to the clients all that regularly. But when they get in touch, we make sure that they're well looked after. We really do now. Spend a lot of time making sure we know about the clients. When they've dealt with us before, we pull up the record, so we're not repeating information. Nothing worse when you get in touch with the business, say, what was your name again?
Yeah.
What was your phone number? When it's all there, it's in your records. And Andrew talked earlier about consistency and systems and processes. And really, if you've got an established business, make sure that you have everything well documented, have your systems and processes, and particularly around who you deal with, who your customers are.
So I'm going to stop you there. As a mid-size law firm with a 120-year history, you don't advertise.
No, no direct advertising. But
it's interesting.
Yeah, well, but you see other law firms that do, but they have a different business model altogether. I mean, they're big, they chase high volume, low margins. We're a very bespoke business. We high net worth corporate and government work.
Yep.
Whereas some of those bigger firms, they go after that very large market. People that want a class action, for example.
Yep.
Or they want to sue over cigarette smoking damage.
So is your exposure to the market around personal service, but
Yes.
you're also doing stuff online. You're doing this.
Yeah.
You're doing Facebook and other things. So
You must keep with the times. Obviously, Our markets change. I mean, we've acted for people where we want to act for their children, their grandchildren.
Yep.
So you've got to move with the times. You've got to keep up to date with your social media.
Yep.
You've got to look at your web page. Make sure it's like if you have out-of-date magazines in your waiting room, your web page has got to be fairly up to date.
I hope you've already got the message out there. No out-of-date magazines in any room that you go. It really is a bad message, isn't it?
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I just think doctors
lack of care, lack of attention to detail.
Yes.
And it's a bit, old hat.
All of that.
Rachel, what have you done? You're building a business, and it's not the first time you've done it, but times, as Geoff said, times change. What are you doing to make sure you get the greatest exposure out there in the market?
I've said it before, be really, really clear on your reputation and make sure you have fantastic results. So everybody is talking about you, the results they're getting and your reputation all the time. And you need to be back to consistency, you need to be consistently out there. You need to be either writing and so people can understand and get a really good feel for what you believe in and what you offer, or you need to be out and about so people can really get a feel for you personally and meet with you personally. And also being on stage and being seen as the expert is absolutely vital to the speed at which you position and grow your business.
But can we just put this in perspective, because I think it needs to be said. It doesn't happen overnight. And this is the thing. People kind of say, I want to become a speaker, I want to build my exposure, and they expect it with very little experience behind them to be able to get out there.
Yeah.
It takes time. Anything of any quality does take time, and you can make sure that you deliver your message as a starting point when you just go to networking events.
Yep.
That's a practice in speaking at the very early stages.
And back to what we were saying before, be prepared. Like know what your promise is. As we've talked about promise before, know what either your pitch is, if you want to call it your elevator pitch, or your promise to your clients. Be very, very clear on what you offer, what you stand for, what your messages are. And all the preparation needs to be done first, and then you can get out there and promote yourself and your business.
Yeah, good advice. Anything that's particularly worked for you in social media, apart from being on Business Blitz?
My blogs, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, really being known for my belief and how I teach people. So every blog goes out with steps of a how to
Yeah.
as well, and that's been huge for my business.
And they have good images on them as well. Andrew, for Vision Personal Training, what's it been about? Where's the exposure come? How have you driven that through?
I think it's funny. It sort of promised me that something that I talk about a lot in our industry. I basically built our business off what I call the 8 R's. And that is, first of all, I basically spent about $4,000 on effective marketing to open 50 studios.
Wow.
So a lot of people ask me, so how much money do you spend on marketing? I generally set it up, and I think they say millions of dollars. And I say, well, actually, it's only been $4,000 that's been effective, because I've simply grown the business through applying the 8 R's. And I say this to trainers, they can do exactly the same thing. Whether in any sort of business, you can do the same thing here. It applies across. First of all, you need to be a great role model. Mm-hmm. And I say, and for me, it was all about, I had to be a role model in knowing my stuff. I remember standing up there presenting in front of people. I think the presentations for me have been a key, whether it's I'm standing in front of a group exercise class and I'm saying, hey, I can not only stand and jump around on a stage, but I can train you personally. So I got exposure by doing that. I provided seminars for clients to be able to obviously come and attend, and then I'd sell a lot of personal training programs as a result of that. So that became for me about being a great role model, and then you need to be able to build great rapport with people. So that's the connection and understanding where people are at. And then you need to then, in turn, that'll help you to be able to get great results for people. Yep. And then you need to be able to publicise your results. And because you're someone who's known for getting results, you build a great reputation for yourself. Someone who has a great reputation manages to be able to retain their clients because they want to be around those sorts of people. They're a people magnet, like the chocolate favourites on TV, the people magnet. A bit like that. So when you're able to retain people, those clients become raving fans, the 6th R. Raving fans provide you with referrals. You know, so therefore, and often referrals don't land on your lap. You actually have to ask a question.
Yeah.
You know, so often you get the referrals, and then referrals brings you revenue, and that's basically how I'd say a person can grow their own business from the inside out. So
and if you were listening to last week, systems, consistency, we can see it coming through in everything that you
Absolutely.
do. And the message here, for me, is, again, it doesn't happen overnight. This is not about getting 1 gig on television. It's not about getting as many likes as you possibly can on Facebook. Particularly over here, Andrew, the thought, the structure, the consistency, the time at which you've developed and built this has been over how many years?
It's a 20-odd year process. I didn't open my first studio until I was in the industry for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
But a lot of people want to come out and they're a sole personal trainer. I think they're going to open their first studio after coming out from a 3-month course, and then next year they'll open another 2. And I said,
so you're another example of an overnight success over 20 years.
Apparently, yes.
I love it. So that's our conversation around brand for this week. And I think the clear message here is do what you love. Use the tools that you like using. So if it's Facebook that you like using, do that. If it's speaking, if it's networking, but build that consistent message. Make sure you're getting out there and really delivering it to market in a way that works for your brand. So this has been Business Blitz again for this week. That's our conversation around branding. We hope that you take the tools, knowledge and insights that you've heard from our speakers and our experts here today and really drive that through your business over the coming months. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you next week.